Have you ever wondered how creators make videos that look like this using only their phone? Well, today I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step blueprint to film and edit high-quality viral videos without expensive cameras or complicated software. If you've ever thought, I don't have a professional camera, I don't know how to edit, and my videos never look good, then you're not alone. But here's the truth. You don't need expensive gear to make professional-looking content. In fact, this video right here will teach you exactly how to set up, film, and edit like a professional, all without expensive gear or complex software. This will be the only guide that you'll ever need to create high-quality videos, so let's get started. Optimizing your phone for high-quality footage is arguably the most important step in the entire process, since the difference between high and low-quality video production can play a big role in whether or not viewers choose to engage with your content or not. If your videos aren't as sharp or as professional as what you're seeing from other creators, it's not necessarily about your camera, and it could be as simple as knowing how to pick the right camera settings. Here's a quick breakdown of all of your options. If you have a relatively new phone, you likely have the options of filming in 1080p or even 4K. How do you know which one to pick? Well, it depends on your goals. 1080p is your best pick for quicker exports and general social media posts, while 4K is good for videos with a lot of visual details that need to be captured clearly. For example, if you're filming a short, funny Instagram reel to post immediately, 1080p is probably more than ideal. But if you're filming a 20-minute travel YouTube video, then 4K would be a better pick and a better picture. Better pick and a better pick. Up next is frame rate. Frame rate refers to the number of shots your camera takes per second when you're filming a video. And like resolution, the best frame rate to choose depends on what your goal of the video is. The higher the frame rate, the smoother and more realistic your video will look. 30 frames per second is generally the standard frame rate for most social media videos, but you might want to consider using 60 frames per second for smoother motion if you're shooting a video with a lot of action. Once you feel comfortable with the resolution and frame rate you've chosen, the next settings to pick are focus and exposure. You can use the auto settings on your phone, but make sure to tap on the main subject in the frame to lock the focus and optimize the exposure. This will help ensure that the subject stays sharp and well lit. Okay, now that you've got most of the camera settings dialed in, the last two that you need to choose are white balance and color accuracy. You can easily calibrate these two things for your shooting conditions by using a white piece of paper and a color checker. Once you understand all of these settings, you can easily fix low quality footage in less than a minute. And all you need to do is open your camera setting and switch to 4K or 1080p. Select a frame rate based on the type of video that you're making. Tap and hold the subject to lock focus and exposure, and then manually adjust the white balance and color setting to match your lighting conditions. If you stick to this process every single time you film a video, you'll be amazed at how much of a difference it actually makes. But it does take practice, so after you watch this video, try filming just a 5-second clip with default settings. Then film another video using all of these tips. Which one looks better? You tell us. I mean, it's so obvious. It's obviously the second one. But we can make it look even more professional with the next step. One of the most important things to remember when learning to film high-quality content is that every video is only as good as its lighting. It doesn't matter how valuable the content of your video is, if the lighting is too poor for viewers to see it, it's not going to make a difference. You also need to pay attention to how you frame your video, which means how you position yourself and your camera in relation to whatever it is that you're filming. The fact of the matter is, lighting and framing go hand in hand, and even the most expensive camera in the world will still produce bad videos if these two components of filming aren't done well. So here's what you need to know about lighting. First, natural versus artificial light. Natural light is all you need if you're filming outside during the day. An especially good time to use natural light is during what's known as the golden hour, which is actually 2 hours of each day. The hour just after the sun rises and the one just before it sets. If you film during this time, your videos will have a nice warm glow. However, if you want soft shadows with even lighting, it's better to film when it's overcast. If you're filming inside, you can use natural light that comes from the windows, but you may need to supplement it with artificial light, which you can introduce with softboxes, ring lights, or any other light that you use for a controlled indoor setup. The way you position your lighting is also very important. Your most powerful light, also known as your key light, should be placed at a 45-degree angle from your face. An easy way to think of that is to put it right in front of you and then move it slightly to the left or right. Doing this creates depth from the soft shadows, giving your face a more professional look. You can then use other lights in addition to your key light to fill in shadows or create special effects, but avoid placing a light directly behind you because that'll cause a silhouette or a halo. There are a few cases in which this setup can be useful or expressive, but they are few and far between. Once you have your lighting figured out, it's time to figure out framing and composition. So how do you position yourself in front of the camera to make the most professional looking video possible? Well, there There are a few ways, and again, it totally depends on the goal of your video. When it comes to framing and shot composition, the main thing that you need to know is the rule of thirds. If you're shooting horizontally, the frame can be divided into 9 equal sections that are separated by imaginary lines. If you place all of the important parts of the shot along those lines, your video will start looking way more professional. If you want to see these lines on your phone while you're shooting, you actually need to activate it on your phone by going to the camera settings and turning on Grid. For the best results when filming yourself talking to the camera, keep your eye line placement near the top third of the frame. When filming other subjects, whether it's a person or an object, you can always use the rule of thirds as a general guide for creating pleasing compositions. Now, at this point, you may be wondering, should you use a tripod or hold the camera as you film? Tripods obviously give you the most stable footage possible, which is great for tutorials, interviews, podcasts, and reviews. Handheld footage, however, is more dynamic and it works better for vlogs, behind-the-scenes content, and even action shots. We can take positioning a step further here because the way you position your camera can actually add a lot to the storytelling aspect of your video. Wide shots that capture the entire scene are great for establishing locations and situations, as well as creating breathing room in the edit. If you're teaching someone how to do something, an over-the-shoulder angle can be very powerful because the viewer can observe exactly what it is that you're trying to do. Using low angles can be a good way to make subjects look powerful, and using close-ups are a great way to show emotion and detail. They're particularly useful when you want to focus attention on the people or characters in your video. Those are just a few options of framing to go along with your lighting, so choose the ones that make the most sense for your video and use them. So the second exercise that I want you to try when you're done watching this video is to film a 5-second clip in the worst lighting possible, and then adjust everything and use these techniques to compare the difference. With the right camera settings, effective light, and framing, you're already well on your way to filming high-quality videos with just your phone. But if you incorporate a few more filming techniques, you can go even further and get even better footage, which will raise the quality of your video even higher. How many times can I say even in one sentence? Okay, so how do you capture the highest quality footage possible with just your phone? Well, the answer is by picking the best type of shot to reflect the type of message that you're trying to send. There are 5 main shot types to choose from. Talking head shots, which is what I'm doing right now. You can see my head, you can see I'm talking, thus talking head. B-roll shots, which are clips that you sometimes record after the fact to demonstrate whatever it is that you're talking about. You can then add your voiceover when you're editing to these. POV shots, this is where you record while holding the phone so that your audience gets your point of view. Tracking shots, this is when your subject is moving and you want to follow them to create motion. And slow motion shots. Everyone loves a good slow-mo, but you can only make this effective if you film in 60 frames per second or higher. While you don't need to be a professional cinematographer to make high-quality videos, here are a few things that you can do while recording these shots with your phone to get the best footage possible. If you're holding your phone to film, make sure to hold it with 2 hands and tuck your elbows in. This will reduce the amount of shaky footage that you get. If you're changing positions or your subject is moving, move your phone slowly and deliberately to get smooth movement. If you're changing scenes but keeping the same subject, keep the subject in the exact same position on the grid across every shot. So if you're filming yourself talking in your room, a park, and then a car, make sure that your body always lines up with the same grid position every time you film. Remember to try these techniques out for yourself once you're done watching this video. Here's a simple exercise that you can do for yourself. Film an action shot like picking up a cup and taking a drink. Do it first with a static shot without any movement, and then do it again using smooth movement. The second clip you just filmed will work great as a B-roll clip when you edit this video together. Speaking of editing, that's where we're heading next. There are dozens of good editing tools out there, but the easiest one to use is CapCut. Whether you're doing it on your phone or the desktop, they've designed it so that anyone new to editing can make great videos without needing any deep skills or knowledge. It's also one of the cheapest tools to use if you want to go for the pro version, although it is not completely necessary. So before we dive into editing, let's make sure that you have everything set up properly. Step 1. Download the CapCut app from the App Store or Google Play. If you're on a desktop, you can download it from the CapCut website. You can also use the web browser version, but I would recommend sticking with the desktop or the mobile version. Step 2, once you have the app downloaded, it's time to create a new project. Inside your project, when you open it, you'll find the timeline, which is where your video goes, the playhead, which basically tells you where you're at in your videos, and different layers if you decide to layer videos on top of each other. Step 3 is to import your footage, and you can do this by selecting the clips from your gallery or external files. When you work with a lot of footage at the same time, you'll need to organize your clips for better workflows, so it's a great idea to create project folders with clear names for everything that you plan to use. Step 4. Finally, let's look at a few key tools that we'll be using. The trim tool allows you to cut down your footage. The split tool allows you to separate parts of your footage into different sections. The text tool does exactly what it sounds like. It allows you to add text on top of your clips. And the effects tool has a whole bunch of different presets to transform your clips. Once you've watched this video all the way through, I want you to open up CapCut and start a new project, and then import a random video from your phone. Mess around with the layout and get familiar with all the tools that I just mentioned. You're going to be using them a lot. So at this point, we've recorded high quality footage with good lighting and positioning, and we've even picked some of the best recording settings possible. The thing is, raw footage is only the starting point. The key to making your videos engaging for an audience is knowing what to cut and what to keep. Here's how you can clean up your edit quickly. Step 1, select your clip and cut out any unnecessary parts using the trim tool. Doing this makes videos more engaging as it speeds up the pacing. If you're making videos for short form platforms like TikTok and Instagram, you're fighting for attention, and long pauses in your videos are a retention killer. This means that viewers will quickly scroll past your videos when they see them, unless you cut them correctly. Step 2, the next step is to use jump cuts. So in the previous section, you would have cut out long sections like the beginning and the end of a clip. But with jump cuts, you can go into even more detail to cut out the ums and uhs. These are split-second cuts that ensure your video moves along quickly. The trick here is to make it feel as natural as possible. If the cuts are too sudden, your video will feel choppy. If they're too far apart, then it'll feel like it's dragging. The key is to find a happy medium. Now it's your turn to try. Record yourself talking to the camera about your day. Make sure your video is at least a minute long. From there, load it into CapCut and trim it down so that it's between 30 and 45 seconds. If it fits and it sounds natural, then you're on the right track. Now, that's just a basic edit, and sometimes that's more than enough, but oftentimes there's plenty more to do with your video that'll make it even more engaging, fun to watch, and polished. Now, we're gonna take a basic edit and turn it from this into this. Now, before I do anything more here, I need to stress that there is such a thing as over-editing. This basically means putting too many effects and transitions and sounds into your video that'll make it worse than if you were to never edit it at all. It's too overstimulating and just generally makes people not want to watch. So keep that in the back of your mind when you're adding what it is that I'm about to show you. Okay, first up, transitions. These are effects that appear on screen when changing from one clip to another. Some common ones would be a wipe or a dissolve. The beauty of CapCut is that there are dozens of transitions ready to be used right at your fingertips. You just need to select them and add them to your clip. You've got simple transitions and then you've got advanced ones. But if you're just filming yourself talking, advanced transitions are going to make your video look gimmicky most of the time. So stick to the simple ones. Up next are texts and captions. Static text would be if you just want to add words to the screen. Captions are when you write out the words that you're saying on screen, like what you're seeing right now. If you're creating videos to post on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts, you probably want to use captions as much as possible. This is because a lot of people scroll on these platforms without their volume on, so they'll skip your video if they can't read what you're saying. CapCut has plenty of templates for written captions, but the ones that write out text on a single line tend to look the best. Let's move on to overlays and B-roll. This would be like when you take other videos and place them on top of your main clip in the timeline. So if you layer a B-roll clip on top of your original talking head clip, it'll show the B-roll clip first because that's the one on top. Using videos like this allows you to enhance your video by giving more context to everything. If you create a video of yourself talking about your latest trip to Bali, for example, using B-roll footage of your time there would work perfectly in the video as you talk about different aspects. It's not just videos though. You can also overlay JPEGs, PNGs, or text. Those are basically all the visual aspects of editing videos, but there is another part that people often neglect: sound. There are two aspects here: sound effects and music. Sound effects are the small sound bites that you can add to make your video more dynamic. For example, if you put a text animation where words are being written out, you can add a sound effect that sounds like a typewriter. CapCut has a whole host of these for you to use, but you can also find free libraries of them on the internet. You can also use actual songs in your videos to add a little bit more emotion. The song that's playing right now reflects the laid-back vibe of me teaching, whereas a Mr. Beast video will probably have more intense music that helps raise the stakes.
This is the most insane laser obstacle ever created.
You do need to be careful with song choices, however, because a lot of music these days will get you a copyright strike. CapCut actually makes a royalty-free music section, which you can find here. All right, before we move on, I want you to take a simple clip and add one transition, one text overlay, and one sound effect as the transition happens. Trust me, you'll see how easy this is, and you'll realize how fun video editing can really be. But we're not done yet. There is one last thing that we need to do when editing a video that'll take it from looking like an amateur clip to something filmed in a photo studio: color correction. While the ideas about lighting and positioning that I spoke about earlier will make your video look better, there are still tools that we can use to make it look as good as possible. Without these tools, your videos will end up looking flat, kind of like this. But using these tools that I'm about to talk about will allow you to make all of the colors in your video pop and become much more effective like this. All right, here's how to make your video look polished in seconds on CapCut. The key here is experimentation. The more you mess around with color settings, the better you'll understand how they affect the video. I'd also recommend showing your color correction to someone else. What looks good to you might not look good to everyone. Another small hack that you can use is to just find a color correction preset and tweak it to fit your preferences. Easy as that. And now that you've edited and color corrected your video, it's time to export it. This is the simplest step, but it can actually ruin a video if you use the wrong settings. If you're making a video for Instagram, use these settings, and use these settings for YouTube. So to recap everything we've done so far, we've optimized how we shot footage on our phone to get the best quality possible. We've also set up great lighting and framed our subject perfectly. We've used proven camera techniques to get cinematic footage. We've even downloaded CapCut and imported our footage, and then applied a basic edit by cutting and trimming all the fluff. We've added effects and transitions and applied a color grade to make the video pop. And then we've exported the video in the highest quality possible for the platform that we want to post on. In doing all of that, we've turned our simple video into a full, polished, viral quality clip. Here's the before. Today, I'm gonna be showing you how to go from this to... I gotta actually do it now. And here's the after. Today, I'm gonna be showing you how to go from this to this, and it's actually way simpler than you might think, and it all has to do with understanding some simple patterns that I'll teach you in this video. Now, video editing is a game of consistency. The more you do it, the better and faster you get. The biggest complaint that every single YouTuber has when they first start out is that editing takes more time than anything else. So it's important to film and edit as many videos as you can to streamline that process and get comfortable with it. You're also gonna get better at editing and analyzing your own content. Every social media platform allows you to look at metrics that show you how audiences respond to your videos. You can see how engaging your videos are or how others instantly turn people away. Through this, you need to identify what does and doesn't work, and then double down and improve what's proven to work. If you're feeling confident and comfortable with the basic edits, the next step would be to learn next level techniques like motion tracking, masking, and cinematic transitions. You can also enhance your storytelling with good pacing, appropriate music, and compelling visuals. Honestly, there's so much that you can do to make your videos look and sound incredible. The key here is to just keep creating and experimenting. And remember, you can do all of this with just your phone. No expensive gear, no complicated software, just smart techniques. Now it's your turn. Apply everything that I've shown you in this video and make your own videos, and let us know which part of the process you've improved upon the most. Thanks so much for watching. We hope this video helped, and remember, we're here to make you the best and most successful creator possible. So if that sounds good to you, hit the like button and subscribe with the bell notification on so that you don't miss any videos. And let us know in the comments what your favorite part of video editing is, or what questions you might have. We'll do our best to respond to everyone. YouTube thinks you'll like this video next, so if I were you, I'd probably click it. Okay, see ya.